What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. The advent of YouTube, and more specifically YouTubers, has allowed the individual to be able to create their own version of being a review outlet. Someone who can talk about, discuss, criticize, do whatever they want in the realm of, in this case, video games, which is a gigantic portion of what YouTube has to offer. And that's been a major competitor to some of these gigantic news outlets like GameSpot, like IGN, Kotaku, tons of other huge media outlets out there that are trying to get your views, your clicks, your attention so their ad revenue can go up. What's transpired recently, especially surrounding what IGN did in their reviews of the new console, kind of exposes them for what they are. IGN reviewed the new consoles that have come out, the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and yes, even the Game & Watch. They gave the Game & Watch a 9 out of 10. They gave the PlayStation 5 an 8 out of 10. They gave the Xbox Series X an 8 out of 10. And all throughout the comments where everyone's discussing this and debating it over Twitter, they're doing the same exact tried and true defense of IGN every single time. Oh, they're different reviewers. Those are people that are not connected to each other, and they have individual reviewers over at IGN to individually review each of these consoles, and because one of them gives it an 8 and another one gives a different console a 9, it's different perspectives, they're different people, so they shouldn't be compared. They're apples to oranges. It's not apples to apples. That is exactly what the problem is with these gigantic review outlets. I mean, obviously, they are different people giving these reviews. I don't understand why people are using that as a defense, though. This is, for example, IGN is supposed to represent a unified outlet where this is a professional reviewer overall reviewing everything that's out there, and it's a place for people to go to get advice, information, true and valid criticism, hopefully, about what's happening in the video game industry for the most part. And that's not what's happening here. They're getting individuals giving their feelings on something that vary widely from one another because they're allowed to have their own opinion. If that's the case, what is the point of a professional review outlet? That's exactly why companies like IGN and whatever the CBS, Viacom Media, or whoever owns them should be very afraid of the future with YouTube. Every day that goes by, it's taking more and more of a chunk out of their market share. And this is why viewers want to trust the individual. They want to trust the source of where they're going to get consistent facts and information about something. That's why the individual will always prevail. The person that reviewed the Pokemon game that gave it too much water, there were some people that agreed with that and thought that, yeah, maybe that's the right perspective. For those people, they should follow that individual reviewer. Going to a gigantic news source like IGN or GameSpot or Kotaku or, like I said, all these other gigantic media sources for video game news online, it doesn't make any sense because it's a bunch of individuals representing a professional news outlet. And people say, oh, well, they're hired based off of their professionalism and their ability to critique things from a perspective that is unique yet professional and able to explain things to the layman so they understand what's going on. But that's not what's happening. If somebody sees the Game & Watch and gives it a 9 out of 10, and then says the PlayStation 5 is an awesome console and gives it an 8 out of 10, even though it's a different reviewer, why are they representing the same outlet? It's pointless to even review these if that's what they're going to be doing. They need to have the same person review all these consoles and give their own perspective of it. Otherwise, the actual giving a point value out of 10 for one person comparing one console to a different console to a different tiny portable console makes absolutely no sense. There is no value in that. Why would somebody listen to a review of Color Screen Game & Watch Super Mario Edition 9 out of 10 and say, okay, yeah, that's worth it, and then go and look at the PlayStation 5 review and say 8 out of 10 and be like, maybe it's not as worth it. Coming from the same media outlet. These people represent IGN, and they're doing so with wildly varying opinions, which is why, ultimately, what I'm trying to get at with this video is, there's no need for a gigantic media outlet the way the landscape of gaming has changed via media these days with YouTube available. Follow your favorite YouTubers to find out what they like, and if it's in line with what you're thinking and how you enjoy things, then that person is a good source for you to follow. To me, this is indefensible. You can't have a professional review site review the PlayStation 5 and give it a lower score than the Nintendo Game & Watch. That can't happen. It doesn't matter if you have different people reviewing it or not. They represent your review outlet, which gets compared to your own review outlet. If you can't get some sort of linearity, some sort of everyone agreeing on things on your own outlet, there is no use to have your own outlet. You just have complete internal conflict the entire time, which is why I keep going back to YouTube is going to ruin these companies. They're exposing them for how all over the place they truly are. There's no reason to go to a site like IGN if they're going to have wildly varying opinions on completely different consoles when you can go to YouTube and find out the truth behind each individual thing from trusted reviewers out there. But Smash, what about the trustworthiness of these organizations? They hire people that are professional. Yeah, okay. Tell that to Philip Mewson, who literally cheated, lied, and stole his reviews because of the pressure he was under at IGN specifically. And yeah, he gave a bad name to every reviewer there, even though he didn't represent all of them. People associate, oh, that's what IGN is, with the rest of those reviewers. Fair or unfair, that's how they do it. That's exactly what I'm getting at with this whole situation with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X getting scored lower than the Game & Watch. That is unacceptable. That's exactly why these companies don't really have much leg to stand on when it comes to being professional. Screw that. If you're gonna be making these reviews, have the same person review all of the consoles together. That way it's an apples to apples comparison on their feelings about all of it. Giving a different console to a different reviewer for each individual thing, sometimes based off of what they like and their biases, could skew it one way or the other, and ultimately at the end of the day makes that review worthless. Don't hit me with that they're professional, because like I said, Philip Mewson literally stole reviews. That's not professional coming from a professional outlet. And that's just one example off the top of my head. Sure, there are plenty more out there. IGN has been called out many times for being paid off for reviews, like for Call of Duty, things like that. Not claiming that that's actually the truth. I'm just saying there are a lot of insinuations that it makes sense for them to give beneficial reviews to companies that are going to be paying for ads on their site. It's kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of situation. And yeah, all this stuff still happens on YouTube as well, but at least the individual viewer is able to select who they want to follow and why they want to follow them. When you just default to what these gigantic organizations like IGN are saying, you are putting your trust in something that isn't necessarily looking out for your best interest in mind. That's the way I look at this situation. This is an absolute embarrassment from IGN. Once again, they should be ashamed of themselves to even let this happen. And no, again, do not hit me with that, oh, but they're different reviewers reviewing these. They are representing the same outlet. And if they can't organize their thoughts together, it's completely useless to even try in the first place. I'm going to leave the video right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash and change. Smash and change. Smash and change.
Watch.